Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Thanks so much for being here today. I am on Thalanis for one more week. Going to be heading to Wayfinder the following week. Going to be running Housekeeping, the final quest in the Lost Gatekeepers pack. Didn't get to that one last week, and since it's a quest that you can really kind of sink your teeth into, I thought we'd spend a little bit more time than usual in it. I also have not yet done the repair work from our ridiculous R10 from last week, so let me take care of that real quick. Thanks for being here. Hope everyone is doing well. In case you haven't heard the news, we have updated our free questing period to go through the month of May, and you can find out more about that on DDO.com. Oh, it's all good enough. There we go. All right. So we're going to be running Housekeeping here in just a smidge. Hello, everyone. What, you don't appreciate me trying to be slightly more professional than normal by not starting with me staring off in the distance, making sure all of our streams are there and letting you know? Okay, what else we got going on? Hello, YouTubes. Hello, Facebooks. I think I need to mute myself on Facebook. It'll be just a smidge. Okay, there we go. Make sure I've picked up the final quest. It looks like I have, so we are heading to the Gatekeepers, or the new hut in the harbor. Hopefully the stream will sort itself out. I'm actually trying a slightly higher bitrate, so if it's getting all choppy, you may want to manually set the stream quality. Take it down from 1080p to 720 perhaps. That can be done by clicking the little gear and then selecting the resolution that works best for you. But I wanted to try upping it to 1920 by 1080 and see if I can pull that off on my rig, because I know I've got the power to do it here, so. While I'm at it, we do daily dice. And let me check the bonus while I'm kind of waiting for everyone to get set up here. We're getting close to the end of Hardcore Season 2. It's going to be running through May 12th, so hopefully you're doing pretty well this year on Hardcore Season 2. I'm looking at the bonus while this is going on. Okay, this is going to be May. All right, we have a Guild XP boost, Guild Renown boost set for this weekend. It's marked on our calendar as 15%. That seems low to me. think we usually do a higher guild renown boost than that. So it will be a guild renown boost along the lines of what we normally do for it. Which I think is usually, what, 30% at least? Something like that. 15% seems strangely low. I'm also closing some windows. There we go. Oh, and sorry about that. I actually had the game volume muted.
I'll be honest, says Capstone as you enter their mind. Ever since I was made, I did what people told me to. That is, until I figured out I wanted to be a druid.
Potion chucking. Oops. So T13, go check to make sure that lowered from 1080p to 720p on your end if you're running into an issue. And I'll follow it up on the archive later, and if it is too bad, then I won't do it again. But I wanted to try streaming in 1080p on this rig to see if it worked.
That I wouldn't be able to cast druid spells, but I refused to give in, says Capstone. I kept going anyway.
What that means, however, is that you may need to manually set it if your bandwidth is such that running a 1080p stream is problematic.
When the offer was made, I didn't think twice. Follow the map, recover the core of a magma fruit, something old yet new. Capstone sighs heavily. In exchange, they promised to make me a better druid, to fulfill the one thing I never wanted.
Can't wait till I get Accelerate as a meta magic. Oh no.
I knew it was wrong to kill that creature. I was a druid, but I was destroying nature. I had a task, and I finished it, says Capstone with resignation. Then they fulfilled my dream by tearing my armor plates off. They made sure it was as unpleasant as possible. In the end, all I've done is doom myself and other people, and all over my own selfish desire. But you're here. Maybe that's something to hold on to. Capstone seems to be roused from her grief. We're not dead yet, and that means we can try to fight back.
All
What's the phrase? Measure twice. Cut
Yes, this
twice.
is
Time
housekeeping.
for me to start thinking before I act. Capstone ponders aloud.
Can you drag that body a bit closer to the ritual circle?
Cadence says.
Its current alignment is disruptive to our enchantments. And
It's
what
possible,
do for
Wilburster,
patron pay?
that my bandwidth is not sufficient to do 1080p on multiple streams. Part of the reason I think that it is possible is because on my personal channel this week, I streamed 1080p just fine to 2 different channels, and there seemed to be no issues. So I thought I would give it a shot this week to see if it was better, if it was doable. And if it's not, well, then I'll not do it in the future.
I'd like you to meet my family. I know I can count on them to cheer me up when things get tough.
Lily says.
I know that at the end of the day, I can always come home.
I picked
and they'll be there for
the
me.
good one,
This is my
Shu.
happy place.
Lily says.
I asked Twitch, I called them up on the phone, and I was like, hey, which Ninja server should I use? And they're like, oh, here's the secret one. The one it sent me to is the answer. I have no idea. But
What? Now why would you say such a thing? Why would I kill my own family? How could I?
Lily demands, obviously upset.
What is wrong with you? Listen, I don't know what your problem is, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't turn my nice little dream into a nightmare.
Tells Lily.
you will lose a lot of spell points with meta magics. It's something you're going to need to either deal with by playing conservatively or, you know, SLAs are a great way to use meta magics without significant spell point cost.
Lily cries out in a harsh voice.
I will not let you destroy the remains of Lily's sanity. You will die here. It's for the best. This has to be a dream, right? Right?
This quest in particular seems to have a lot of shrines, so that's kind of nice too.
The longer this nightmare drags on, the less sense it makes.
Says Lily.
Why do you feel more real than the rest of us?
If gatekeepers are supposed to keep gates shut, how come they only sent these small fry?
Beatrice asks.
We went for the weak ones, you know.
Oh, sorry, I'm actually in an off-brand
Hoping
hoodie.
for
I
a bigger
forgot to
serving?
switch out
Don't
before I
worry.
went
This
on the
for
stream
sure will
today.
protect us from gatekeepers scrying for some time. You'll get your fill when it's done.
Forgive me, my mind is a bit of a jumble right now, says Foxpaw. I'm usually much more organized.
Actually, whom I need to speak whom I need to speak to? Nice going.
Everyone has to make a choice. Trust evidence and logic, or take a leap of faith, says Foxpaw.
No, Shoemaker's trolling you, Draconor. I haven't announced anything of particular significance today. Overall, we're just kind of cooking along with our next game update. We probably will be doing a patch in the near future. We've got the end of hardcore season coming up fairly soon. So that's a thing. Actually, let's go like that, and then this has to go like, what's it, like this? There we go. This goes here.
And now
Okay.
our lives hang in the balance. It's time to think outside the box, says Foxpaw. Who wouldn't strike a bargain with a fiend in a situation like this? Asks Foxpaw. Thank you for helping me organize my thoughts, says the Foxpaw.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what I might have that would be kind of fun to talk about, but honestly, not much has overall changed from last week. We've got the team really just hard at work on the next update, along with working on Feywild. You know, some of the team has already moved off to Feywild, and some of the team is working on the next update. We did have to close Soul Survivor again over the weekend. The fix that we had put in place last patch wasn't apparently the right fix to get that quest reopened. We were having issues with it over the weekend, so we had to reclose it, which is a bummer. But we have some people working on that today.
Hey, did you notice that
It looks like it may be related to some of the assets that are used in that dungeon, some of the wall assets in that
might be a bit dangerous.
are having some kind of weird physics issues that is causing
Booms
problems.
a hag voice from somewhere above.
My, that's a lot of platinum. Do they still use that in this place?
Sure, Siegfried. Things like new cosmetics is generally always something we're working on. I have not heard of new dragon armors and dragon helms, although that sounds like certainly something that we would not be opposed to. We have not yet fixed the, you say the sack's ripped to make it mouse clicky to exit the sack. I assume you mean the rift that we will be tearing open later on in this quest. That was not corrected in last week's patch. That is something that should be on the agenda here in a near future patch. I don't know when we're next going to be bringing tensors back. We had it not too long ago here.
Says Thel.
But it feels so good to get mad.
Sorry, Wilhelm. No plans on pole arms anytime soon.
I have a temper. I get frustrated sometimes.
Admits Thel.
Is that what the head's counted on? Am I just a mad dog fighter of me? God, I'm so angry.
So, the next expansion will be the Feywild expansion. That is set to happen later this year.
Let's think this one through.
No, nothing to announce regarding a when on our first Lamontia Feywild preview.
What's the deal with
Not
you?
for a while.
Your soul
We have
is
another update to get out
transparent like
first.
mine.
Val says. He leans closer.
Hey, what did you do?
The hags continue to argue somewhere up above.
Beatrice, you eat when we're done. Focus on you.
Says Beatrice.
But you're even a real man.
All right, no plan. Beatrice, eat them.
Cadence says,
Secular, I believe that Shifter is... I actually have to admit, I have not seen the 5th Ed Feywild supplement. I know the team has, but I have not. So I couldn't tell you specifically how Shifter is in there, although that sounds like a reason why Shifter would be coming in Feywild to me.
Cadence bemoans her own demise as she flops to the ground and turns to dust. Agnes collapses, groaning.
You got me.
Then she poofs into a cloud of dust.
Will you hurry up? We're on a schedule.
Cadence reappears on a tree stump, then disappears just as suddenly.
Blarg! I am dead!
Beatrice announces with a distinct lack of enthusiasm as she falls over and scatters into dust. The hags didn't seem to be very worried about their deaths. You suspect you haven't seen
Oops,
the last
I want
of
to
them.
reroll. I want to loot. There we go. Alright. Groovy. Shoemaker wants me to bring up a thing I mentioned on my personal Twitter, which is that lately I've been getting a lot, like to the tune of, it was at one point I was getting a couple dozen per day. Work-related messages on my private Twitter account. My private Twitter account is not affiliated with SSG and would not be an appropriate place to deal with official work business. So if you have official work business with us, whether it's, you know, hey, what's the status of my ticket, you know, the same kind of stuff we often see on social media, do that over on DDO or Lotro's Twitter rather than my personal Twitter, because I can't use my personal Twitter, and I wouldn't even if I could, but I can't use my personal Twitter to track work-related business. And adding me on top of SSG and DDO simply means that I get 3 notifications instead of 1. But I promise you, I see it regardless. I had thought, Vishired, that we had corrected that issue in Repossession, where if you disconnect after destroying the crystals, the quest is unable to complete. I had thought in last week's patch or the week before we had added a zone in to address that issue, but maybe not. So I'll have to follow up after the show here today to see what's up. I haven't done a lot on this character yet, so kind of for whatever. As long as we're next to it, let's get a revenge on Cobalt Assault and just do it on, well, Either Elite or Reaper 1, whatever you want to do. I kind of want that. I haven't gone through my loot from last week to see what I want to keep. And I do that just in case I need accuracy. Is there a way to get out of the map in the Grove, and will it be fixed soon? I don't know what you mean. The map resize will be fixed soon, if that's what you're talking about. That should be in the next patch. Otherwise, get out of the map in the Grove. I don't really understand what you mean by that. I'm sorry. The yellow names thing, I have heard other people report that. I have not noticed that myself, although maybe I'm just not looking because you just kind of get so used to it. But I don't know is unfortunately the answer to that one. Uh-oh. Oh no, I'm out of... What do you do? Pay to win? I need to get Omni Spell. No! Okay. Omni Spell. Alright, now I can cast spells again. Something I would like to do. No, there is a way to get to the unassigned area from the Grove. Oh, if you're talking about that, yeah, that will be fixed in the near future. I would strongly recommend people not do that. Super cool. I'm not sure what you mean by mouse fix. The flickering textures is something our art team is working on. And the 64-bit client is something that I know our engineering team will be doing when they can. We have a lot on their plate right now. Some of the recent lag investigation required basically 100% time dedicated on our engineers to correct. And so that, you know, is time that could not be spent doing other things. Oops. Is that true, Terry, on Facebook? I haven't even noticed. Crafting materials have been not on sale for a long time. It does seem a little strange. I mean, I know that there may not be the most popular thing in the store, but I would assume they'd be on sale at some point here. Actually, don't we even have a whole crafting kind of sale? I was running with the guild recently, and we ended up kind of getting slaughtered on Reaper. We weren't on Reaper 1. We ended up just staying too much by the entrance to the quest here and fighting all these kobolds, which was fine, except that the Reapers were kind of spawning and not coming to us. And what ended up happening then is all of a sudden, all those Reapers that were just sort of sitting by each other suddenly activated and started getting towards us. And we all of a sudden had like 8-10 Reapers to deal with, and it was bad. No, the torque will never be in the DDO store. Sorry. No, I would not expect us to do a COVID-19 related ribbon. I think yellow names has to do with reactions and temp hit points granted to other players. Okay. As far as I can tell, unless it's happening and I'm just, like, overlooking it because I'm not used to seeing it. I haven't seen that on my game client at all here. So if it's happening, it doesn't seem to be happening to me. Or at least I'm not aware of it. Someone point out if all of a sudden you see my NPC name's yellow. I'll try to pay attention. But I'm not seeing it, I don't think. Why don't Reapers focus on hirelings? They probably would be better off focusing on the greater threat. I'm not saying it's not happening with the yellow names, just that it doesn't seem to be a consistent issue, so hopefully we can figure it out. Yes, I am saying the hirelings are not as great a threat as you are as a player character. The Reapers full well know it. The hirelings are like the fighter at the end of a martial arts massive battle where you've got like Bruce Lee, you know, knocking out 20 people and then turning his attention to the one guy who's just kind of shaking and then runs away. That's, yeah. Yellow names occur when you port into an instance after someone else. All players who port in after you have blue names, but people in there before you have yellow names until a mouse over. Well, that is something I can check here in just a second. Oh, let me get my chest. I am sure the Wish of Inheritance will return in the future, but I have not heard of any timing on that. So the question from Twitch is the team working on more cosmetic options for mounts? The answer to that is yes. We will be working on new mounts for a while now. You know, it's a fairly new thing, so we'll be introducing new mounts in the future. The mount tech we use does not permit customization of existing mounts, so a new cosmetic would be a new mount. You can't equip cosmetics on a mount. All right. Let's see. What should we do next? How about... I don't know. Anyone got a thought on it? Otherwise, I'm just thinking maybe Red Fang. Let's do a little harbor questing here. And I'm going to port in after everyone else this time to see if I can repro that yellow floaty name text thing. How about we do Red Fang next, and let's go in on Reaper 1 again on that. And I'm going to go in after everybody else to see if I can repro the yellow floaty name thing that someone on Facebook was saying I can repro by going in after everyone else. Okay. Nope. No yellow names. Well, we'll have to work on it. Yeah, I like Red Fang. That's basically why I picked this quest. I'm on 64-bit here, so again, you know, that doesn't really mean anything other than the fact that I'm not seeing it. But I don't think just being on 64-bit by itself is the cause. Oh, join the party after others are in the instance? That's certainly something that we can check out. Probably sit keyway on that one, but that seems like something we could. It sounds plausible. Ah! I guess I took off my feather fall. Oops.
Dangerous looking spider crawls from the shadows, hungry for a meal.
Someone was saying maybe this has something to do with a hardcore reward. I don't remember us having a hardcore reward that turns your name yellow. I don't remember that one. Alright, well, if I'm getting too many dropped frames and such, then this experiment will just be deemed a failure, and I will go back to 720p for future weeks of the live stream. But I'm not going to shut down all the streams and troubleshoot it now. I wanted to try doing 1080p today, see if I could get away with it at home. It sounds like results are mixed, so... Yeah, I would be surprised if this was... if the yellow name bug was related to hardcore, but again, I don't know what's causing it. So. Because I haven't seen it myself. I have seen the reports though. Steve wants basically a rework on Primal Avatar. I'm going to say that we do not currently have plans to redo our Epic Destiny trees. With Feywild, we're going to have some new kind of systems in place that are basically what the developers are working on right now, rather than, say, redoing all the Epic Destiny trees. Do I have to jump on? I probably do. Not. That. But near jump. Wasn't sure if that trap was disabled or not. That's called a calculated or incalculated risk, as it were. Oh! Oh! Bummer. Yeah, I wish I knew what the good answer was to that was causing that, but unfortunately I do not. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry that you're having such a bad experience here today, Loaf Beef, on your frame rate. Like I said, I've got a mix of people in chat saying everything's fine and it looks great, and then some people saying it looks terrible, and please don't ever do this again. So, I guess we'll find out much more. Anyway, it sounds like maybe I just won't be at 1080p for future weeks, but I wanted to give it a shot.
The cobwebs here are thicker, as if a more potent silk were being spun by the spiders. Red Fang must be near.
Alright, we don't have our rogue with us. Our rogue has unfortunately passed. No, I've not heard of plans to bring back Crystal Cove or Maybar in the coming weeks. Sorry. One of the issues I've run into, I think I don't really have any personal opinion on Mixer. One of the challenges I've run into that on Mixer is that, unlike Twitch and YouTube, it is difficult to browse by game to see past videos. When you do a search on Mixer, all it'll give you is existing or currently active live streams. So trying to like say for the purposes of the DDO Chronicle, figure out what streams happened over the past week on Mixer seems to be, as far as I can tell, undoable. I've not figured out a way to do it. I've tried Google search like Mixer DDO sorted by the past week, and I don't get much in the way of results, even though I know there are some people streaming on Mixer. When you go to Mixer's site itself and try to do a search for Dungeons & Dragons Online streams, it just returns no results, even though I know that there are some happening. So I haven't been able to really promote DDO streaming on Mixer for that reason. If you are on Mixer and streaming DDO, please don't forget that if I would be happy to promote your stream. I can do that for the DDO Chronicle. Just send contact at standingstonegames.com or DDO at standingstonegames.com, whatever. It goes to the same inbox. And let me know, send me a link to your most recent video so I can actually try to promote that. At the moment, I'm doing 3 streams, as people were talking about in chat today. I'm going on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I really don't see myself adding a 4th chat room and everything to keep an eye on. I think 3 is about my limit right now. But we'll see what happens in the future. Alright, I think I'm actually maybe just going to call the show here. I'll do a little selling and repairing. and that sort of thing. Kill a few minutes here with the chat. So I think that's it with the questing. I will get you a points code in the in-game mail, hopefully later on today. I know I was late last week on that, but I got that out yesterday. Sorry about that. No, I have not considered going through like a Restreamio. I don't know. I'd have to look into why I'd want to do such a thing. It isn't clear to me why I would. I've only heard of negatives rather than positives, but I also have not done much investigation of it. Yeah, I'm aware it saves some bandwidth broadcasting to multiple platforms, but I don't know that bandwidth is necessarily the issue. And at what cost is the other thing that I've heard, in terms of like quality of your stream and such. But again, I haven't really looked into it, because... Yes, I take points in swim. You should too. Got a couple points here to spend. Let's see. I have no plans to use Restreamio, sorry. Shoemaker, I don't know why you're promoting it so heavily. Yes, the Chronicle is now released Friday. It's not around noon, though. It's later than that, because I do the Lotro stream equivalent of this show at Friday at noon. I have not followed up to know what our hardcore postseason transfer period will be. My guess is it'll be similar to hardcore season 1, you know, at least a couple weeks, up to a month. Oh, can you see my character's face, please? Okay. Right. My character's face. Alright. I think that's going to wrap it up with the show. Samus Grobo is going to be up next over on his channel. He'll be doing a raid on our stream here. So feel free to check that out. You can also find the full schedule over at twitch.tv/DDO stream. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Going to be on Wayfinder. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.